This is Joy News Prime. Coming up, some NDC youth in the northern region vandalized the regional office over the appointment of an acting chairman. In a video intercepted by Joy News, you could hear gunshots. Also, butchers import livestock to meet the ever-growing demand in Ghana. But they are saying it's becoming expensive to do so due to the depreciating cedi. They want the finance minister out.
We will import them from Burkina, Niger, Mali. Yes, Ghana, we don't have cows. Yes, we want finance minister. He should resign. There was a week that we increased this meat twice.
1 week.
1 week. Within 1 week. Within 7 days.
We'll take you to the Malamata market. Also, government moves to rescue over 431 Ghanaians, including 2 children detained in Dubai. We have details of a statement that suggests they were misled by unscrupulous individuals who had promised them non-existent jobs.
Some people are still going through this terrible crime. Some people are victims. We should make every effort now to ensure that slavery and forced labor are stamped out completely and totally.
The TUC has waded into this. We'll hear from them. And later, Minority in Parliament described processes leading to the contract extension for Deputy Director General of the GES, Anthony Boateng, as irregular and not following due process. They are urging the Deputy Director to decline the contract offered him by the President. And it's just a day to the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair 2022. We'll tell you about a new housing project by Gold Key Properties, which is set to give homeowners real comfort and affordable luxury.
Tower is the latest project that we've started.
Okay.
But then we've set our sights also on areas like Chado, where we are going to have apartments and townhouses coming up, and Jowulu as well.
Hello again, thanks for choosing us. Some National Democratic Congress youth in the Tamale metropolis of the northern region have vandalized the party's regional office in a protest of decision to let one of the party's vice chair, Ali Adolf, act as party chairman. The party's leadership made a decision following the death of the party's chairman, Alhaji Ibrahim Obila. The youth stormed the party office, ordered the occupants to leave and locked up the place. They later vandalized the structure and destroyed properties. In a video Joy News obtained, you could hear gunshots amidst the commotion and also demands that Ahmed Rafiu Velim rather be allowed to be the acting regional chairman of the party. Well, let's get some more on this. Joining us on phone is the Regional Secretary, Mohammed Salam. He's the Secretary of the Region for the party in Tamale and joins us on the phone. Thank you very much, Salam, for your time here on Joy News Prime. And so let's start with the gunshots that we had there. Have we identified those who held the guns and why they were shooting sporadically? So we'll be getting Mohammed Ali to bring us some more on this developing story, because we're seeing, as you're seeing in your visuals there, we have angry youth of the party storming the party's headquarters in the region over a decision to let one of the vice chairmen act as the regional chairman following the death of the chairman of the region. They are unhappy with this decision. They're rather pushing for another person to be made to act in the stead of the deceased chairman. But why did this turn violent, and why this approach to getting their issues to the national leadership or the regional leadership of the party? We'll be joined shortly on the line by Tamale Secretary Mohammed Salam for some more information on this. But we do know that the police will also step into this issue because of the sporadic gunshots that we saw in that video. It's unclear to us if there were any injuries, but they stormed the facility, asked the occupants to leave the structure. Then they went ahead to vandalize the party office, destroying property. Mohammed Salam agreed to speak to us earlier, but as we are learning right now, he's not responding to our calls. Once we get him, we'll bring you that interview and bring you more in our subsequent bulletins. Let's do some other stories now. Government says it is taking steps to rescue over 432 Ghanaians detained in Dubai. They include 341 males, 88 females, and 2 children below the ages of 3. Investigations by the Ghanaian consulate in Dubai suggest the nationals were misled by some unscrupulous persons who promised them unavailable jobs. Foreign Affairs Ministry in a statement says, though the people went to Dubai on their own volition, government is collaborating with the UAE officials to evacuate them to Ghana. You know, the TEC has raised concern about forced labor and modern slavery. Speaking at a workshop in Accra, Secretary General Dr. Anthony Alban said organized labor has a role to play in stamping out all forms of inhumane labor practices.
The sad thing is that some people are still going through this terrible crime. Some people are victims. And we know this in our communities. And as unions, we have a role to play, either as collective or as individuals in the union. And that is why we should remind ourselves that slavery should never be allowed to happen again. You go to places like Mauritania today, slavery is normal. But not only Mauritania, here in Ghana, in Volta region, there is, and parts of Togo, there is this trocosi system, which amounts to bonded labor, forced labor, or slavery. Emphasize that we have a role to play as a union to stamp out all forms of slavery and forced labor, because history can repeat itself, and we should not allow that to happen. We should make every effort now to ensure that slavery and forced labor are stamped out completely and totally.
Hello, advisor to Norway, Alice G. Siam, said they chose to partner with Ghana's TUC because of the unimpressive record on child labor.
I feel that, we as trade unions now need to stand up and be counted and make sure that we use the tools that we have, the means that we have to reach our people, to sensitize our people that this is evil, that we cannot continue to enslave others, because, like Brother Anthony said, we are continuing that humiliation of the African race. and we are inflicting it upon our people to feel inferior, to continue feeling inferior. If our own people can make us inferior, what more with the white person outside there? So it is our role to uplift each other as Africans, that we are as human as every human being of any color on this earth. And we should eradicate that if it's done at community level, whether it's our chiefs, whether it's our parents, our family members, we should contribute to eradicate it. The manual that is going to be launched today is not a means to an end, but it is a tool to make trade unions' light shine on this issue. This manual is going to make us, as Ghana TUC, shine the light on the issue of modern slavery, or slavery as it is. Our people are dying across the oceans. How many people have we lost in the Mediterranean seas at the moment? How many people have been trafficked by ourselves here to go and languish in Europe and be used as tools, as servants? We are doing this, and we cannot allow this to go on.
So how can we deal with this issue? Let's speak to an organization that has been doing a lot of work in this area. Ernest Kojo Foster is the National Director, Advocacy and Partnerships with the International Justice Mission Ghana, and he joins us via Zoom. Thank you very much. So you've done some work in this area. What does your work in recent times reveal about this issue? Are we making strides, or it's increasingly becoming difficult to address the problem?
Yeah, good evening. Thank you very much. I think that as a nation, we've come a long way, and we are doing well in so many aspects. For instance, the government has increased budgetary allocation for the Anti-Human Trafficking Fund at the Gender Ministry, twice what it used to be. Okay. This year, just last month, the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection launched the National Plan of Action for Elimination of Human Trafficking in Ghana, spanning the period between 2002 to 2022 to 2026. So there have been significant steps that have been done as a country. But unfortunately, these steps have not been so far-reaching as we want them to, because the situation is becoming a bit critical, very serious, and people are profiting from it. And it's becoming a very profiting venture for people, both internally in Ghana and across borders. So as your news item stated earlier, people have been trafficked to the Gulf regions, and people are benefiting from that massively. And as a country, we need to really look at it. So as a country, the government, civil society are doing a lot, but in my view, and with the work that we've done so far, it's not been so far-reaching.
What is the challenge? What is not working?
Well, for what is happening internally, I'll take it from two angles. Internally within the country, I think that for some of the cases of trafficking, it's been couched as a cultural issue. So you have people trafficked on a lake for where we work, where our expertise is, for example, where children as young as 4 or 5 years old are trafficked onto the Volta Lake to help with fishing. The communities have couched it a lot of the times as an issue of culture. But that is not an issue of culture, because when you go on the ground, those who have trafficked the kids, who are boat masters and using these young children, 5, 6, 7 years old, do not have their kids involved in that. They've taken children who are less deprived from other areas under the guise of education, under the guise of helping them with better life, and then put them under such circumstances. A lot of them even end up dying and are traumatized for so long. So in that case, we need to come back and use our laws in Ghana, which is that this is a criminal act. And if we start looking at it as a criminal action and prosecuting people to the latter and making sure that people pay for the crimes that they commit, then people begin to realize that this is a serious thing. And as a country, we are serious about it and we will not spare anyone. So I think that looking at it more as a criminal case rather than just an issue of culture would help us internally. Now, looking at the external bit, which is that people are being trafficked outside the country, I think that as a country and as a community, we need to come together and solve this as a community problem. because people are always under the illusion that there are greener pastures or there are better things outside the country than we have here.
Right.
And people are always led out of the country under that guise. And those who are involved in this, those who are benefiting from this monetarily, know that people always think things are better outside, and they explore, they take advantage of the ignorance of people to do what they are doing. So I think that if we clamp down on these things and say that this is criminal, when we catch you, we are prosecuting you to a letter, we are jailing you, and all those who profit from it know that this is a clear message as a country. I think that
then we'll be able to deal with the issue. I'm grateful that you could join us. That's Walanyo Foster, Deputy Director at the IJM in charge of advocacy. We are grateful for your time. Let's do some other stories now. The minority in Parliament is wading into controversy surrounding the post-retirement contract handed a Deputy Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Anthony Boateng. According to the minority, the processes leading to the contract extension did not follow due process. This is the second-year contract offered Anthony Boateng by President at the request of the Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Osei-Duchum. Some teacher unions already are warning they will disregard directives from him if he accepts the contract. We'll hear from the minority shortly, but first, John Hughes has intercepted a document from the Finance Ministry making a strong case against post-retirement contract. My colleague Kweku Asante joins me via Zoom with details of this. Kweku, what did the Finance Ministry say about this issue of post-retirement contracts in the circular that we have cited?
So indeed, just this month, on the 5th of August, the Deputy Finance Minister, Honorable Abina Osei Asari, issued a circular to all chief directors, all ministries, departments, and agencies, warning them against employing people who are out of contract. That are people who are over 60 years, and government is seeking them to keep them on the payroll on contract. Let me quote. It says, the Ministry of Finance wishes to inform heads of ministries, departments and agencies, and metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies of some expenditure policy measures as outlined in the 2022 budget. Paragraph states that and says that government has with immediate effect suspended the granting of approval for post-retirement contract appointments, except in cases where the skills of the retiring officer are in short supply and unavoidably needed. In view of this, we are unable to grant financial clearance for post-retirement contract appointments at this stage. It came up because there are people who had raised significant concerns about government continually giving contracts to people who had met their retirement age. Yeah. And so this letter sought to say that we're not going to do so anymore.
Kweku, thank you very much. Let's go on to the phone lines now and speak to Deputy Ranking Member on the Education Committee, Dr. Clement Park. Doc, thank you for your time here on Join This Prime. So you say that the contract extension did not follow due process. How exactly?
Yes, that's correct. The contract extension for Mr. Anthony Boateng, the Deputy Director General in charge of management services, clearly did not follow proper procedure. As far as we know, when the services of somebody are unavoidably needed, and when the skills and competencies of that individual are such that the absence of that individual would be harmful to an institution, and in this case, the Ghana Education Service, the proper process is for the Director General of Ghana Education Service to make that case to the Ghana Education Service Council. It is after the council has heard and deliberated and decided that the request that is being made is meritorious, is justified, that communication is then conveyed to the minister, who then writes to the presidency asking for a contract extension. In this case, this didn't happen. And it is important to put on record.
Dr. Park, just before you continue, what didn't happen? The president did not give express approval?
No, that the Director General did not make a recommendation to the council. The council did not deliberate over it and approve and give the minister the needed, if you like, information to then write to the president requesting an extension.
Right.
So the process was clearly circumvented.
Right.
And so it is important that when we speak to these issues, we speak to processes and procedures so we can build strong institutions and not personalities.
Right, but beyond the issue of process, which is very much important, you did make the point about the skills of the person being needed, which would be one of the grounds, or for instance, the what a person brings on board, which would be one of the grounds for which one person will be considered for a post-retirement contract. Have you established with the ministry why this person, Anthony Boateng, is being considered for a second-time contract post-retirement?
Well, I have not, but I don't believe that his skills are irreplaceable. And I don't believe that his competencies are unique to him. If you were to look at the letter from the presidency, which ostensibly is a reply to the letter that the minister wrote, it sought to indicate that he was being maintained largely because he is working, he is, if you like, the lead person working towards the establishment of the Institute of Education, National Institute of Education. I see no reason why he's the only person capable of doing that. He obviously would not have been working alone. There must have been others who have understudied him. And in any case, I don't think it is rocket science. Let me be quick to add.
Yes, sir.
That contrary to what you are saying, this current contract extension is Mr. Anthony Boateng's third, not one, not two. This is his third contract extension. So clearly, given the fact that the processes were circumvented, it will suggest that that circumvention was probably because there was an indication that he would not be recommended, which he wasn't, and or the GES Council would not have given approval, and that is not acceptable.
You're urging him not to accept the contract, something I bet you're not likely to get. What can you do within the framework of Parliament and the law to have this issue addressed, and what are you willing to do?
Well, he ought not to accept the contract, because even he himself knows fully well that he doesn't merit this extension, and that is why he went on to fully hand over on the 16th of this month, and even caused a letter to be written to him so that he could activate his Senate benefits. So as we are speaking, Mr. Anthony Boateng himself is fully aware that this third contract extension, he doesn't merit it, and he is not certain. And that is why, like the teacher unions, we are urging him to decline in the national interest.
Dr. Park, are you suggesting that he's being forced to take up the job one more time?
Well, if the man retired fully on the 16th and got the letter he needed to go and start activating processes to benefit from his Senate, only for us to wake up a day after to hear that he has been given a contract extension, what does that tell you? There is an interest beyond Mr. Anthony Boateng himself.
Well, we'll leave it here for now. We don't have a response from the Education Ministry yet. When we do, we'll put the relevant questions to them and get some clarity to this. I'm grateful for your time. That's Dr. Clement Park. He's the Deputy Ranking on the Education Committee. You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Kojo Manu. Still to come, butchers import livestock to meet the ever-growing demand in Ghana. But they say it's becoming expensive to do so because of the depreciating cedi. They want the Finance Minister out.
And sheep from Burkina, Niger, Mali. Yes, Ghana, we don't have cows. Yes, we want Finance Minister. He should resign. There was a week that we increased this meat twice.
1 week.
1 week. Within 1 week. Within 7 days. We want them.
And sheep
from Burkina, Niger, Mali. Yes, Ghana, we don't have cows. Yes, we want finance minister. He should resign. There was a week that we increased this meat twice.
1 week.
1 week, within 1 week, within 7 days.
So did you ever imagine that Ghana will ever import livestock from neighboring countries? Well, it does appear that that is the case. And as you heard the butchers there explain, the current challenges with a depreciating cedi is crippling their business, leading to an increase in their cost of importation with the livestock, especially from Burkina Faso and other countries. For PM Express tonight, Evans Mensah went to the market to interact with traders on the impact of inflation and the depreciating cedi on their businesses. Here's more.
Goat, sheep, cow,
yes,
and they become very expensive.
Yeah,
I mean, but why? Why are they expensive? I mean, I have to goat, sheep.
Because of the dollar.
But you're not importing the goat and the sheep, so
we import them.
You import
from Cote d'Ivoire, from Burkina, Mali, Niger.
The cow or the goat or the sheep, all of it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
We are plenty of Fulanis with.
Ghana, we don't have cows.
We don't have cows.
How many cows do we have in Ghana?
So you are importing cows.
Most of our rich men doesn't invest in the agri sector.
Okay.
Yeah. They want to put their money inside their house and they'll be watching their money. That is why we are facing this challenge.
So you are importing cow.
Yeah, of course.
What about goat?
We import them.
And sheep
from Burkina, Niger,
wow.
Mali. Yes, Ghana, we don't have cows. How many cows do we have in Ghana?
The depreciation of the cedi
affect us.
It's affecting
the business,
the butcher shop here.
Yes.
So in the past, if I was doing a kilo.
Yes, a kilo is almost about 12 cedis. 12
cedis.
But now it's 18 cedis.
Wow.
Yes.
That is
even the 18 cedis. It doesn't reach its money.
That is 6 cedis more.
Yes. It doesn't reach its money.
When was the last time you increased the price?
Yeah? About 4 months ago.
4 months ago. You have not increased it again since.
Yeah, yes.
But what about the general economic situation? You think it's part of the problem?
Yeah, of course.
Well, what about it is a problem?
About the problem?
About what is it the general economic situation?
Yes.
Beyond the investment. What else?
Ghana, our economic is very poor. Very poor. The depreciation of the cedi.
So all you need is for the finance minister to hold the cedi.
The cedi.
That's all. That's all.
To stand at one place. We get a man. If the cedi stand at one place, we don't have problem with it. You understand me? Resign. Yes, we are expecting to resign.
So you are expecting the finance minister to resign?
The city doesn't stand at one place.
Okay. But he said
that's our main problem.
But he said that the reason why we asked him, he said, I mean, like a father, he doesn't want to abandon his children at this time. So he doesn't think that resigning is a solution.
Who said that?
The finance minister.
Finance minister.
Yeah.
To me, he should resign.
And I see you all agree.
Yes. We want finance minister. He should resign. Okay. Because we are facing problems with our business.
But this year, how many times have you increased?
Oh, about 3 times or 4 times.
This year alone.
There was a week that we increased this meat twice.
1 week.
1 week, within 1 week, within 7 days.
How long ago was this?
Huh?
How long ago? This is about January or February?
Around 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Within 1 week, twice. We are facing problem with our customers.
So we have more on PM Express tonight at 9 p.m. here on the Joy News channel with Evans Mensah. You want to tune in. Stay with us for intriguing stories from the Malamata market. But many have blamed the fast depreciating cedi on the increased demand for the dollar. The Ghana Union of Traders, GUTA, has promised, or they have actually proposed to the Bank of Ghana to consider using the Chinese yuan as an alternative foreign trading currency. Here's the president of the union, Dr. Joseph Obeng.
As the bulk of our import comes from China, we have suggested on several occasions that we better use the yuan as an alternative to ease the pressure on the United States dollar, as has been done by other nations in the world, such as Zimbabwe. The Bank of Ghana should monitor and enforce its regulations to strictly control trading with the dollar on the local market, as well as the activities of the black market.
That's Dr. Joseph for being there. But how feasible is this if Ghana is to make that decision? And what will it take? Kofi Ajay is a data analyst, and he joins me in the studio with more on this. Kofi, I'm interested in how much we are getting from China in trade in terms of balance of payments, and if we have enough, for instance, to make that decision. But run us through, first of all, the depreciating cedi, what the trend has been. Today, it's been very terrible on the currency market. Run us through that and then what we need going forward.
Right, so on the screen now, it is clear the cedi has not been at one place since the beginning of the year. So the cedi to the dollar at the beginning of the year was 6 cedis to $1, and it's currently at 10 cedis, 15 pesos. This is an average figure. It means that if you do the math, the cedi has lost close to 4 cedis, 15 pesos to the dollar. If you look at the British pound, 8 cedis at the beginning of the year, now 11 cedis, 72 pesos on the average. It has lost 3 cedis, 72 pesos. The euro has lost 3 cedis, 12 pesos to the cedi has lost 3 cedis, 12 pesos to the euro since the beginning of the year, and you have the Chinese yuan has lost just 48 pesos since the beginning of the year. The cedi has lost 48 pesos to the Chinese yuan. But we are looking at how feasible is this if we are actually moving away from using dollars and actually moving towards the Chinese yuan. Now, let's look at how much we get from exportation of goods as a country. If you look at our top 5, export destinations, Switzerland is actually number 1. We get close to 13 billion from, 13 billion is actually the total amount we got in 2020 from exportation. Switzerland contributed 3 billion. That was the highest, followed by UAE, 1.64 billion. Now look at China. It's number 3. That's how much we are getting from China. 1.52 billion US dollars from China. The picture is different when it comes to how much China is actually taking away from our economy. So we are getting 1.52 billion from China. India is giving us 1.18 billion. And also if you look at the Netherlands, 697 million dollars in 2020. Now this is where the picture changes. If you look at our top import sources, China is number 1. It means our economy is giving so much to China. Whilst China is giving us just 1.52 billion, it is taking away 6.75 billion from our economy. And Netherlands, which is actually the last in terms of, the amounts we are getting, is also actually taking away, 862 million also from our economy. And the picture you see over there. So we ask ourselves, if we convert everything to the Chinese yuan, is it going to be profitable? But looking at the data, we are actually getting less from China than we are actually giving to them as a country.
Interesting there, Kofi. Thank you very much for bringing us those details. It's interesting how much we are getting from China and how much they're giving to us. Yeah. But let's do some other stories. Now, the board chairman of the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, Umar Farouk Ali Mahama, says Ghana has taken one of the most important steps towards the full utilization of the country's iron ore reserves with a review of the master plan for an iron and steel industry processes to secure a comprehensive master plan for the industry, according to the board chairman, will help improve technical guidance and direction on how to develop the entire iron and steel value chain. Speaking at a 2-day workshop to review a proposed master plan for the industry, Umar Farouk Ali Mahama, who doubles as MP for Yendi, also promised commercial mining of the mineral will commence before the end of 2023.
Steel, the finished product of iron ore, has over the years proven to be one of the backbones of many developed economies. So far, Ghana has identified iron ore deposits in 4 regions, with the OT region having the most deposits. According to the Chief Executive Officer of Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, Kwabena Bonsufojo, the financial gains from the iron and steel industry will be without bound.
In terms of numbers, it's exponential. I mean, you're talking millions of dollars. It's going to create employment, it's going to create revenue for the country. We're going to stop using foreign currency to import steel and iron rods so that that money stays in the country to be used for other purposes. So this is a quantum leap as far as Ghana is concerned. Once we're able to produce steel, it will set us on the path for industrialization, development, and Ghana can only move forward.
To ensure the land is protected and reclamation made possible, the strategy by the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation is to partner with the private sector for best practices in exploring the mineral.
We are showing that we have the potential of moving Ghana's vision of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa to a reality. By so doing, making sure that the potentials that have been harnessed, we make sure we get strategic people to help us do a proper private sector participation, because if you care to know, there's a lot of investment that goes into the mineral resource estimation. The mineral resource estimation gives you an overview of what you have in terms of validation to actually let Ghana. If you don't know what you have, you cannot do what? Be able to talk or sell anything to anybody international or try to produce anything.
Board Chairman of the Ghana Integrated Iron and Steel Development Corporation, Umar Farouk Aliu Mahama, assured investors of a transparent process in the issuance of blocks to prospective firms once the mineral resource estimation is completed.
We as a board have given Ghanaians a priority because Ghanaians are the owners of this, and Ghanaians are going to be part. Not only, if you look at JIDEC, there's a lot of Ghanaian participation. I can tell you 60% of Ghanaians are participating and involving themselves in this investment, and it's not going to be party based. We are looking at how to move Ghana. Ghana is not for one person. Ghana is for all of us, and I believe the President of the Republic is not a president for only party people, but it's a president for everybody in this country. And the president, and with the support of the Lands and Natural Minister, we will carry through the process right, transparent as the president has always been, and follow the due processes, the approval chains before you even get a mineral license and all that.
It could take at least a year before Ghana begins commercial mining of iron ore. The board chairman assures that government will adopt universally accepted best practices in exploring the iron ore deposits.
To education now, public universities across the country are preparing for the admission of science, technology, engineering and mathematics students as the government's STEM program takes shape. Provost of the College of Engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Mark Adom Asamoah, says whilst laboratories are being equipped, space is being created to admit the first batch of STEM students. Ohim Interior has more in the following report.
The Drilling, Fluid and Cementing Laboratory is one of several STEM labs at KNUST. Here, a group of 7 petroleum engineering students who benefited from STEM education are busily researching into a greener approach to the manufacturing of cement.
We are actually working on a project about geopolymer. Geopolymer is a greener approach to making cement.
The students, all former students of Prempeh and Adisade colleges, Yasantua Girls, KNUST, St. Peter's and Wesley Girls Senior High Schools, have one motive: how to produce environmentally friendly cement that has less or no carbon dioxide emissions. Christy Elsel, a former student of the Wesley Girls Senior High School in Campus, is leader of the group.
We are trying to reach the global goal of reducing the production of CO2. So we are coming up with a new kind of cement called geopolymer. It's made with an aluminosilicate material with an alkaline activator. So we already have our aluminosilicate material ready. We are working on our alkaline activator, but we need to make a prototype of the cement and test if it's actually commercially viable or is feasible to work with. So right now, these are molds that were fabricated from the mechanical engineering lab, and we are preparing for cement, concrete making.
These are beneficiaries of STEM program introduced at the senior high schools by the Education Ministry. The ministry, under the watch of Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, has extended the program to the basic school level. Professor Adom Asamoah, Provost of the College of Engineering at KNUST, commended the Minister of Education for the introduction of the STEM education at the basic level.
A lot of these developing countries have gone through the development of STEM, which has been introduced right from the primary school to secondary school to the universities. I believe that the current Minister of Education has done very well and is doing very well, especially with the introduction of the special STEM schools.
According to Professor Adom Asamoah, universities will be at hand to immerse students in both theory and practicals to prepare them for industry.
At the College of Engineering, we run 18 undergraduate programs, and I believe that we have enough space to accommodate all the STEM graduates. We are eagerly waiting for the first batch of the STEM graduates to come to the university to undertake engineering and science and mathematics and the rest. It is important that we immerse these students in terms of our teaching and the practical hands-on so that they will come back to feed into industry with special industrial skills.
President of the Petroleum Engineering Students at KNUST, Adele Joel, also appreciated Dr. Yao Educhum for leading the charge to make STEM a sought-after course in Ghana. This, he says, will bring national development with the introduction of more science and technology graduates.
This is a very good initiative by Dr. Osei Educhum for the very good initiative that he's bringing on board, and it's going to help and go along with national development, because we have many graduates in there who are very vested in science and tech. And we all know that in this day and age, it's science and tech that moves the world.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohimi Tiria reporting.
In less than 24 hours, the much-anticipated EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair will kick off at the Accra International Conference Center from Wednesday to Sunday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. One of the exhibitors and one of Ghana's top real estate companies, Gold Key Properties, says its new project, which will be in Chado, Jowlu, and Cantonment, will give homeowners real comfort and affordable luxury. Max Olagba has been speaking to the sales manager.
Today we are at the premises of Gold Key Properties Limited, and I have here with me Satar. Is it Satar?
Yes.
Okay.
Satar.
Satar.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So Cantonment City Apartments is one of the residential blocks we have within our Cantonment City, which is a mixed-use development that Gold Key has embarked on. So Cantonment City is an enclave where we hope people can live, work, play, shop, and do everything that they're supposed to do. So to my left here, you see PwC Tower, which is an office complex that houses PricewaterhouseCoopers and then other tenants in it. In the enclave, we also have EY building as the space for Ernst & Young, and then we also have Huawei building and Vivo building. So we have commercial properties within the enclave, and we are having residential properties as well. And this is the maiden residential block that we've put up already. We are also putting up the Cantonment City Tower, which is just across the street, but then we still have units in there for sale as well. And then we are going to add on to the enclave a multi-story car park and then a retail shopping center as well.
For here, is it for permanent stay or temporary stay?
Okay, so we have people who have bought units here and they live in them. We also have people who have bought for investment purposes. So for those who have bought for investment purposes, we manage it on their behalf, where we get them tenants and then they earn rental income. So for now, we just have a few units here for rent, and then if anyone is looking for a furnished 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom for rent, they should come to Cantonment City.
Okay, so let's say I've traveled from outside Ghana. I need a place to stay for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I can come here. Do you have space?
Yes, so you can actually call on us. So what we do is we offer both the short let and then the long tail rentals. The short lets will be available. It's dependent on availability. So if you come and then we have space to accommodate you for a short period, of course we would accommodate you.
And you have a couple of new developments, coming up. You want to tell us more?
Yes. So as I mentioned earlier on, Cantonment City Tower is the latest project that we've started. But then we've set our sites also on areas like Chado, where we are going to have apartments and townhouses coming up, and Jowlu as well.
So we should look out for Jowlu,
Chado. Yes, and still in the cantonment enclave as well.
Okay, we're going to have buildings from Gold Key Properties coming up, Chado,
yes,
Jolu.
Yes,
okay,
please.
So I mean for Chado and Jolu, if I want to, can people, I know we are yet to start those developments, but can people start, can they start?
So what I would actually say is the best time to buy a property is to buy it off plan. Because properties sold off plan are discounted.
Okay.
Because it's like you are having faith in us that you haven't seen what we've put up, but you want to buy from us.
Okay.
So obviously I'll sell it to you at a lower price than someone who comes to see a building that has been put up and then wants to choose a unit to buy.
Yeah.
So yes, people should visit our booth at the fair, give us their contact details, and once drawings and plans and prices are ready for these new developments, we'll contact them for them to make their pick.
Okay.
And then they would enjoy the off-plan discount.
But you've been taking part in the Habitat Fair for some time now. What feedback would you give?
It's been great, I would say. That's why we are coming on board again.
Okay.
So it's been a great experience where you get to engage with people who are looking to buy, people who actually need advice on where to start from on their real estate journey.
Yeah.
So it's been great. It's been great so far. Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks so much, for talking to us.
Yes.
Sata.
Thank you, Maxwell, for having us.
Great.
Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't give for one of those apartments, but look, let's meet tomorrow. We have many offers for you. Let's get talking at the Accra International Conference Center. This is John News Prime with you.